Now I told you, there's lots of different ways to earn money, but all of the different ways fall under two broad categories. The first one I said was regular income, which sort of clues you into the fact that the other category is irregular. Right. So, two main kinds of irregular income that I'm going to tell you about, just like with regular income. The first kind of irregular income, which is the simplest to wrap your head around, is what we call piecework, which is exactly what it sounds like. Every time you do a piece of work, you get paid for it. So often this is with physical objects. So for example, if you are a food vendor, then the more pieces of food that you sell, the more money that you earn. Okay? So this is pretty straightforward. You just have to work out your actual income is going to be the number of items. If you're the person making them, maybe you get paid per number of items you make, even before they get sold, and then you just multiply that by whatever the individual price is. Okay? Number of items times individual price. It is worth commenting, this is not something you really need to know, but it's relevant because it's just a practical thing. If you're a person and you're the actual, you buy all the stuff to make the foods and then you sell them to people, right? You don't actually make this amount of money as a profit. Think about this, right? Suppose you're making and selling sushi rolls, right? Maybe you sell each roll for $3 a piece and then you sell 100. So that'd be say 100 times 3. Well, $300 is not going to be your profit. Why not? Why not? Yeah, Brian. Yeah, so the rice and the seaweed and the other ingredients you put in, because presumably you have more than just rice and seaweed, they're going to cost money. You've also got things like, if you employ someone to help you, remember those first two things, the salary and the wage, you're going to have to pay a human being for that, and that will cut into your income. You might have a shop. That shop's not free. That space that you are using up, it takes money. So we call all of these things overheads. Right? You have to pay for those, and once you've paid for all of those, then you work out how much you've actually made. Now, piecework is fairly simple. The one that takes a little more thought is sort of halfway between piecework and that regular income stuff that I mentioned before. We call it commission.
Oh my god.
Okay. Now, just like before, I asked you for a succinct one-sentence definition for a wage or a salary. Is anyone willing to offer up a sentence that would describe what is commission? Yeah, Brian, nice and loud.
Like a percentage of what you sell and you get.
Yeah, very good. So, see this, remember this, right? Piecework, the more you sell, the more you make, right? Commission's kind of like that, but basically you're selling something that belongs to someone else. So they don't give you the whole amount. Instead, let's write this down.
It's like a real estate agent.
Yeah, that's right. So a percentage of sales revenue is the way we would say it. Okay? So here's the idea. You're a salesperson. Maybe you work at Harvey Norman and you sell fridges. Maybe you're working a real estate agent. You're selling property. Okay? Now, if you're... we live in Sydney, so a property might be like $800,000, $1.2 million, something like that. You don't get all of that revenue as the real estate agent. You just get a portion of that, a percentage. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Remember I said, it's kind of halfway, this commission idea, it's halfway between piecework and that stuff, that wage stuff, salary stuff. As anyone will know, for example, you might remember when we had those heat waves and that kind of thing, right? If you're a salesperson for air conditioners, you're having a great time. Everyone is sold out of portable air conditioners, right? In winter, you're going to sell lots of air conditioners still because people want heating. But at times like now, where the weather's quite temperate, your sales revenue, it might not go to zero, but it's going to drop very sharply, okay? So many kinds of sales are what we call Does anyone know what it's called when at different times in the year it goes more or less?
Peak.
High and lows.
Peak periods, highs and lows, they all come under this same umbrella of what we call seasonal. Right? Because literally often it goes with the season. Okay? Now because your income therefore is not stable, right? It's irregular. This is what I mean. You have good months, you have bad months. In order to make sure you can actually still make a living, most places that hire salespeople or real estate agents or whatever, they provide what's called a retainer. Okay? Now, I don't know how many of you have braces. I had braces. Okay? After you have braces, you get them out, and then you get a retainer. What is your retainer doing? It's keeping them in place, right? It's keeping them in place. Now, here's the thing, right? Real estate agent, Harvey Norman, whatever. They want to do to you, as the salesperson, exactly what you want to do to your teeth. You don't want your salesperson to just leave because they have no income. You need to hold on to them. You need to retain them. So here's what the retainer is. The percentage of sales revenue, don't move, it goes up and down. But the retainer is a regular income to offset the fact that, well, this is all irregular. We don't want you, if you have a bad month, to just like have no money and be out on the street. So we pay you a little bit regularly to hold on to you. Next lesson, I will show you how that works.